What's up, you guys? Welcome back. Another video. Got some bad news on the second gen Prius. Fortunately for me, my head gasket blew. It's not a severe leak. I took the car to get diagnosed and they told me that the cooling system got compromised. So I'm still gonna have air in my system no matter what I try to do, because the head gasket needs to be repaired. So I don't want to tackle that job just yet. What I'm gonna try to do is put a solution called K-Seal into it and see if it would work for this generation Prius. We did attempt this on the third generation Prius. It was 2010, and it worked for a few months. So I think we were able to get 4 or 5 months out of it. It's a temporary band-aid. It's not gonna fix it forever, but it'll buy you some time. Now I don't have a severe leak like we did on the other Prius, so we're gonna give it a shot and see what we could do. And this is a product I'm gonna be using, K-Seal. So this treats up to 12 cylinders, and we're gonna see if only one bottle will do the job. We did use about 3 or 4 bottles on the other Prius in different times due to the fact that it kept overheating, and we just kept adding and adding until we got the opportunity to do that work on the car. So for now, we're just gonna go ahead and put this in the system. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do next. Yeah, so first thing, remove your radiator cap. Of course, do it when the car is cold so you don't get no coolant all over you. And then I'm gonna be using this funnel kit that I bought. I picked this up, I believe, at AutoZone, and this was 50 bucks. Comes with different fittings. This is the one that works for this generation Prius, and you're gonna put this guy seated here on the neck of the radiator, and then you get this, you secure that on there, and you put this right here. And now I'm gonna add some coolant to it. And it's filling up the coolant like up to here. You don't want to get too much. And for this, we're using the red coolant, Toyota, Lexus, or Scion. This, you can pick this up at Walmart for, I believe it's like 15 bucks, somewhere around there. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to attach a hose to this bleeder valve. There's your bleeder valve right in there. I'll put up the size of this hose on the screen for you guys to see, and this goes into that. You see it right in there. You'll see where the fitting's at. So the bleeder valve is right there, and you just slide this hose right onto there, and it's pretty tight, so you'll be good. And then I have an empty canister here. I'm gonna put the hose in here, and I'm gonna see how many bubbles come out of the system just like this without putting the solution in there. Once I see that there's a lot of bubbles still coming out of here, I want to get the hose and put it in there, and we'll cycle the system and see if the product's gonna work. We should see it in a few minutes. And for this bleeder valve screw thing here, it's a plastic screw, and you're gonna need a size 6 looks like a hex tool. I'm not sure exactly what this is called, but it looks like a hex tool, and it fits right in here perfect. It's the correct size for it, and you'll be able to open the valve up. Now the next thing that we're gonna do, the next step, is that we have coolant now in that funnel, and what we're gonna do is put the car in maintenance mode. So right now what you're gonna do, you're gonna hit the power button twice so you get your accessories on, 3 times in my case. I'll turn off the climate here. So right now the accessories are on just on the cluster there, and what you're gonna do is hit the gas pedal twice while it's like that. 1, 2. And put your left foot on the brake, and you're going to put the car in neutral, and then you're going to go ahead and hit the gas pedal twice again, 1, 2, and put it in park. and do the gas pedal again twice. 1, 2. And you'll see the indication up here that the car is in maintenance mode. And now that you see this on the screen, you're able to hit the power button and the car's going to be in maintenance mode. See it up here? So now the car's on, it's in maintenance mode, and the car's not going to shut off. We can go back outside and check out the system, but before we go outside, you're going to turn on your heater on max hot. Let's see this, the Bluetooth there. Wait for this to go. So it's on max hot. I'll put it on high and get the heater, the heat coming out the vents, and we'll go outside right now and we'll do the rest out there. So now we're just gonna wait till the fans kick on at least once, so this could be at operating temperature, and then we'll move on with the K-Seal procedure on the instructions on what it says to do. So right now we're just waiting for the fans to kick on, and the thermostat should open up. Once the thermostat opens up, we should get some action and hear some bubbles. Another thing, open up this valve just a little bit. You don't want to open this up when the car is really hot. So you're just going to twist it to your left. And that should be good for now. And what you're going to do is just let some air come out of here. So remember how I was saying that I loosened this up just a little bit, so now you could just go by hand. So I'm going to open up the bleeder valve now until I see coolant come through this hose. There we go, you see the coolant there? You see a bunch of bubbles in here. I have a bunch of bubbles in here due to the head gasket. You know, the compression in there, the pistons going up and down, building up that pressure. And no matter what, I'm always going to have air in the system. So that's where the K-Seal is going to come into play. We're going to see K-Seal is going to get rid of these bubbles for us. I put an oil pan down here just to catch any of the leak that I'm going to get from opening up the valve up here. Hey guys, now that I'm seeing that there's still bubbles coming out of here, there's no way the system I'm going to be able to stop this. So I'm going to close the bleeder valve. Not all the way tight, just enough, because it's plastic. You don't want to tighten that up, especially when the car's hot. And now what I'm going to do is run this hose over to the funnel. I'm going to place it in here. Alright guys, I've waited about, it's gonna say a good 10 minutes now, even though the bottle says that it's 1 to 3 minutes and you're good to go. Opened up the bleeder valve a couple times now and not getting very much more of a, I'm not getting more bubbles out of it. So I believe K-Seal has done what it said it's gonna do, because now it's flowing pretty good. See, it's a top consistent stream there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off the car, and before I turn that off, I'm going to close up the valve. Remember, hand tight. Don't tighten it all the way, because you need to wait for the car to cool down so you can finish tightening this up. And what I'm going to do now is, on the second generation Prius, they have the stupid storage tank for the coolant. And the purpose of it is to keep the coolant hot, So when you do the first startup of the car in the morning, or anytime you do a first startup when it's cold, it'll send hot coolant to the engine. So like that, the engine warms up faster. So it avoids the long wait for it to cycle to warm up to the temperature it needs to be at. I'm gonna put another hose, or I'm actually gonna try to do it manually so it'll burp the system on this side. This is a storage tank, and here's your pump. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cycle this pump manually. You can either cycle it manually or put a hose down here. So what I'm gonna try to do first is do the manually. So I'm gonna power this a couple times for a couple seconds to burp this canister, because this canister might still have air pockets. Alright guys, now that the car is off, I'm gonna go ahead and manually turn on that pump on the canister, underneath the canister, so I can see if I have any bubbles come out of here. A little bit more fluid, some more coolant in here, just like that, and you'll find the relay that controls that pump. And it's gonna be this one right here, on the right side, closer to the driver's side. Take this off, and now you're gonna get a multimeter, any multimeter. Put your negative down here at the bottom, positive on top. Just a couple seconds, wait a little bit. You see how that, when I turned on the pump, the coolant started going down. Alright guys, the process is done with commanding that pump to stay on, so I can see how many bubbles I can get out of the canister over there. The relay's back on. I'll cover this up, and I'm just gonna do one more thing, and that's going to be to put the hose back on here on the bleeder valve. Put the car back on maintenance mode, and I'm gonna put the hose into a container, and I'm gonna fill this up to here. And once the coolant goes down to about here, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna close up the bleeder valve, and that's gonna be it. The car is back on maintenance mode, and now I'm just opening up the bleeder valve and letting this coolant drain down and getting as much air as possible out of the system. And you're still keeping an eye on the funnel, making sure that you don't forget to add fluid in case it goes too far down. Same thing, we're waiting here. You can still see a little bit. So we'll give it a little bit, and once this stops and it's just running clear fluid, we're good. Alright guys, at this point I'm done bleeding out the system. I got as much air as possible out. Remember, this is just a band-aid. It's not going to fix it permanently, even though it states on the bottle that it's, it's going to fix it permanently. I don't think any of these solutions actually do that, but it's a band-aid. Hopefully it buys me enough time so I can get to repairing this later. And I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use for this job. And here's what I use to do this. Here's a small ratchet with this little extension here for this guy. This hex key. This is a number 6. The K-seal, a multimeter, and this clear hose so I can put it on the bleeder valve. Here's the size. Got this at Home Depot for about $6 for like 20 feet of it. The funnel, so you could put this on top of the radiator, and of course some coolant. And that's how you do this process, guys. Well, this is how I did it for my car. Maybe you do it differently if you know more about it or have more experience doing this. But thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.